Welcome back to the channel, Freeriders. Thanks for checking out another episode. Today we're going to be looking at the Mitas Enduro Trail Plus tires that I just recently installed on the Tiger 1200 GT Pro. So due to the fact that I got a nail in the sidewall of my rear tire, this change took place a little bit sooner than I was hoping, but I am happy to have finally put them on. So today we're going to be talking about how this tire performs on the road and a little bit of off-road, some gravel travel, giving you my initial thoughts on what this tire is like, especially being on a mag wheel instead of a spoked wheel. And if you guys enjoy this video, make sure to click the like button, subscribe to the channel for more. Let's hop in. Alright, as I said, these are the Mitas Enduro Trail Pluses, not the XT Pluses, and they are the Dakar. They're basically an updated EO7, as you can see there. The Mitas tires are new to the United States within the last couple of years. I know that Parts Unlimited started offering them, and that has now allowed us gentlemen here and ladies in the United States to try out these Mitas tires. They are a decently priced tire compared to some of the, I'll say, like Dunlops, Michelin's, and Pirellis. And I love the tread design. The Enduro Trail XT Pluses that I have on the 890 have been doing really well. And so I wanted to try out their 80/20 tire for the Tiger 1200 GT Pro. Alright, so let's hop on the bike and see how these tires are. So as I'm getting off the beach here, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you guys right now that I am running street pressure currently. It's 42 in the rear, 36 in the front. I got to find the opening. There we go. So as we hop into this video, there's two things that I want to point out immediately. You are going to get a different feel with a more aggressive tire. Now, the Tiger 1200 comes with a set of Pirelli Scorpions from the factory. I also want to throw in the fact that BMW's GS currently, I want to say, has a Bridgestone tire on it, which is somewhat comparable to the Enduro Trail XT Pluses that I have on the 890. I don't believe they're as aggressive and the tread depth isn't as deep. But in regard to this tire has more of a street profile, less of a knob, I want to say. The tread is still very luggy, of course, and it is aggressive. It's just not in that horizontal pattern that you find on more of a dirt bike tire or a dual sport style tire. Now, there are other videos that I have seen, of course, in the past from Chris Birch, amongst others, running the Enduro Trail Pluses that I have on the Tiger here on their 890s and doing some pretty serious off-road. Hence the reason why I bought them for the Tiger. I am sacrificing some of that road comfort, of course. I don't have what I would say a whirling feel. It's more of a slight vibration. And when I say slight, I mean very slight. It's like my brain is just acknowledging the fact that I have a more aggressive tire on, but the bike is still riding very smooth. Now you might ask, what does that mean? And especially through the handlebars. Well, I don't really feel it so much in my feet and in my butt. I do feel it a little bit in my handlebars, but it's minor to the point that taking this on these tires and this bike on a long trip, it really wouldn't faze me. I feel like the suspension that comes on the Tiger is set up well enough to help kind of mask some of that feeling. And then the second point that I want to notate here is the GT Pro's wheels are mag wheels. They're not spoked wheels. And that creates a more rigid transfer from the road to the rider. Spoked rims are going to help cushion it out a little bit more and make it smoother. Here in Iowa, there's a lot of concrete roads, and as you may be able to see, the road is fairly grooved. Not every road is like this. It's just, there is a lot of concrete, there's a lot of pavement, there's grooved concrete, there's smooth concrete like over this bridge here, and then there's small pavement sections like the one I just went over. So there's a variety of terrain, and going over the grooves, I do feel it a little bit more. It's not necessarily wanting to find a groove and suck me one way or another. I just kind of feel somewhat of that like going over a graded bridge type feeling. But as the road smooths out and as my speed picks up, it does change the way it feels. So we're going to hop on the interstate here and see how they feel at highway speed. They're still braking in, so I'm not cornering too hard, but it does seem to be accepting the lean angle rather nicely. So braking in these tires, I'm going over grooved pavement right now, and the left to right seems to be sticking pretty well. When installing these tires, I mean, even if you order them yourself and you get them in the mail, you're gonna notice that they're pretty sticky. And I like that about these tires. You mix that with a pretty thick tread, I think it's a great recipe for having a long-lasting tire for the road on your adventure bike, as well as being able to handle some pretty gnarly off-road sections. As I had mentioned before, there's guys running these tires on the 890, the 790, the 10 arrays that are doing surprising things with them that I wouldn't think a tire like this could hold up to. So the fact that it can handle the highway and then go do that stuff definitely makes me think that this is a great long-distance touring camping tire, and definitely a solid contender for something like a BDR too, especially if you are looking to ride to the location that you're going to do your BDR at. Tracking pretty straight. I do have some decent headwind. Let's go ahead and fast forward past the highway section here. Then once we get off and things slow down a little bit, I'll weigh back in again. So as we're getting off the highway, I think I kind of want to elaborate a little bit more on what I mean when I said vibration. So when you have a more aggressive lug, there's a larger gap in between those lugs. And as you are riding and you go over that gap, there's that little bump. And that gives you more than just a vibration. That gives you more of an actual hop and definitely a whirling sound. With tires like these, where the spacing is closer, like you can tell mentally that you're riding a more aggressive tire, but it's smoothened out. And yes, I will also mention that you are going to be sitting higher on the bike with a tire like this. That was probably the first thing that I noticed as soon as I threw my leg over the seat, was that I was taller. So right now I'm on pavement, some road snakes and whatnot, but it's pretty smooth. I feel the engine vibration and the feedback from the road. It definitely does, of course, feel different than the Pirelli Scorpions, but it's still pretty smooth. It is still, I would consider, a tire that I would ride on all day long and not have any issues. Plus, I can also alter my tire pressure a little bit. I can come down a smidge from where they're at now so that they are a little bit more plush, but the tire pressures that I have currently are more of a highway pressure. So those are some initial thoughts and opinions based on highway travel. We're going to be coming into town here shortly, so I'll let you guys know what I think about that stop and go, and then we'll hit some gravel roads. All right, as we come into town here, I can definitely tell you that I do hear a little bit of road noise, and it's kind of blending in with the exhaust tone. It's not annoying by any means. I just, like I said, my brain acknowledges the fact that there is a more aggressive tire on the bike, and it's not like ruining the ride for me. It's providing me with function for this machine. The tires are meant to handle the types of terrain that I want to be riding. And yes, it is supposed to get me to where it is that I want to ride, but then also be able to handle off-road sections without sliding all over the place. So I'm hitting pothole after pothole and road snake after road snake. And I think that it's kind of skewing my perception just a smidge, because the road has so much in it that I'm feeling that it's not a smooth road test. At these low speeds, it's still just the same, very navigable. Still keeping my balance and everything. I can feel those lugs a little bit, but I can still maneuver. It doesn't want to just fall to the left or the right, which is nice compared to, like I said, some of those more dual sport and adventure tires. They have a sharp edge, so when you lean, it just wants to fall right in. This tire has more of that street profile, like I said. Let's go ahead and fast forward again through town. We'll get to some gravel roads and see how they do. Alright, I'm going to keep my street tire pressure for this off-road section, just because I'm not doing a whole lot of off-roading today. There's no slippage right off the bat. I mean, I haven't goosed the throttle too hard yet, but it does have good forward momentum. Due to the tire pressure, I do feel the front end being just a smidge loose. Gave her some beans there. She handled pretty well. It didn't get unmanageable for me. Definitely better than the Pirellis would have handled, I will say that. Having a set of tires that gives you more freedom of choice on where you get to ride makes it almost as important of a decision, I guess, as the bike that you're riding, because the tires will make a big difference in the things that you can do. All right, let's give her some beans again. Oh yeah. Even with street pressure, the grip is pretty good. I'm being a little cautious at the front end just because I know the pressures are rather high, but she's doing pretty good. Alright, this hill defeated me once before on the 890 when it was wet. I'm willing to see how the Tiger does with these tires on it and see what happens. Oh, like butter. I just felt the front kind of give a little bit there, like I said, because the tire pressures are high, but that was a fair slope for the hill. Like I said, the Enduro Trail XT Pluses that I had on the 890, I took up that hill during some horrible conditions, and it didn't turn out well. I think, you know, of course, if it's extremely muddy, the tires that you're running don't matter at some point, but the Tiger just took that like a champ. I was very, very pleased with how that did. As I had mentioned in the beginning of the video, the stuff that I've seen guys do with these tires was impressive, and I just had first-hand experience myself just then. So we're going to go ahead, turn around, and do that downhill. Nice. 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 Alright, you guys, to summarize this video, these tires have impressed me quite a bit today. I bought them for the purposes in which you saw today, and they did not disappoint. But to conclude everything, like I said, there is mild road noise. There is a little bit of that vibration that I feel through the handlebars, ever so slightly. I do not feel it in the seat, however. The seat maintains a steady ride throughout the ride. And the grip, as you just saw, has impressed me. So I'm going to continue running these for quite some time, more than likely, because of how well they did today. And if you guys are curious, like I said, they are available through Parts Unlimited. You can find them online through your local dealer. So make sure to check them out if you have an adventure bike. And if you guys have any questions, comments, leave them down below. But until next time, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel for more, and we'll see you guys later. Peace.